Jack Miller parked his old blue truck in the driveway and checked his watch. It was later than he wanted to be home. The aerospace company where he worked as an engineer had kept him in meetings all day. He grabbed the pizza box from the passenger seat. Lily's favorite pepperoni with extra cheese would hopefully make up for being late again. "Lily, I'm home," Jack called as he pushed open the front door. No answer came back. The house felt wrong. Too quiet. "Lily?" he called again, setting the pizza on the kitchen counter. His daughter always texted if she was going out with friends. He pulled out his phone to check for messages. Nothing. Jack walked through the living room and noticed the lamp on the floor. A chair was knocked over. His heart beat faster as he rushed upstairs. "Lily," he shouted, checking her bedroom. The window was open, curtains blowing in the evening breeze. Her school books were scattered on the floor. Her phone lay cracked on the carpet. Jack's military training kicked in. He had served as a Marine before becoming an engineer. He studied the room carefully. There were burn marks on the wall that looked strange. Not like fire or electrical burns. They gave off a faint blue glow in the shadows. Near the window, he spotted some kind of dust. It sparkled with tiny crystals, unlike anything he had seen before. He called the police. They came quickly, took notes, and asked the usual questions. When was the last time he saw Lily? Did she have any enemies? Was she having problems at school? They treated it like a normal missing person case. "We'll do everything we can to find your daughter, Mr. Miller," said Officer Bryant. "Most teens who go missing return home within 48 hours. This wasn't a runaway situation," Jack insisted, pointing to the knocked-over furniture and the burn marks. "Someone took her." The officer nodded politely but didn't seem convinced. "We'll have the lab analyze these residues," he said, bagging some of the crystal dust. "But it looks like some kind of craft glitter to me." After the police left, Jack sat on Lily's bed, holding the photo of the two of them from last summer's camping trip. In the picture, Lily was laughing, her blonde hair catching the sunlight. She had her mother's smile. Jack's wife had died from cancer when Lily was just 10. For 7 years, it had been just the two of them against the world. The doorbell rang. Jack trudged downstairs, expecting more police questions. Instead, a woman with short gray hair and intense eyes stood on his porch. She wore a NASA badge clipped to her jacket. "Mr. Miller, I'm Dr. Ellen Wright from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. May I come in? It's about your daughter." Jack let her in, hope and suspicion fighting in his mind. "How do you know about my daughter?" Dr. Wright looked around carefully before answering. "Because yours isn't the only disappearance, and those burn marks and crystal residues the police dismissed. I've seen them before." "What are you talking about?" Jack demanded. Ellen took a deep breath. "Mr. Miller, I believe your daughter was taken by non-terrestrial visitors. In simple terms, aliens." Jack stared at her. "You're crazy." "I thought you might say that," Ellen said, pulling out a tablet. "This footage was taken by one of our deep space telescopes 3 weeks ago. We've been tracking unusual activity near Earth." Jack watched as the video showed a strangely shaped craft moving in ways that defied physics. His engineering mind immediately recognized that no human aircraft could maneuver like that. There have been 17 disappearances worldwide in the past month, all with the same signature your police friends just bagged as craft glitter, Ellen explained. "The government is keeping it quiet to prevent panic." Jack looked at Lily's photo, then back at the scientist. "If what you're saying is true, how do we get her back?" "That's why I'm here," Ellen said. "Because I think you might be crazy enough to help me try." Jack spent the next 48 hours helping Ellen set up equipment in his backyard. He had called in sick to work, his mind focused only on finding Lily. Using parts he borrowed from his aerospace company and Ellen's specialized gear, they built what she called a targeted signal amplifier. "This won't be like sending a radio message into space and waiting years for a response," Ellen explained as she connected wires to a modified satellite dish. "Their ships are already in our orbit. We just need to get their attention. Jack worked silently, following Ellen's instructions. Part of him still couldn't believe he was trying to contact aliens, but the evidence she had shown him was hard to ignore. The crystal dust matched samples found at other disappearance sites. The burn patterns were identical too. What if they don't respond? Jack asked, tightening a bolt on their makeshift device. They will, Ellen said with confidence. They've been studying us. They're curious. And curiosity is a weakness we can exploit. That night, they activated the signal. It sent out a repeating pattern based on what Ellen had observed from the alien ship's own communications. For 3 hours, nothing happened. Jack sat on his porch steps, drinking cold coffee and watching the stars. Ellen monitored her equipment. Something's coming, Ellen whispered suddenly, pointing to her screen. Atmospheric disturbance, moving fast. Jack looked up but saw nothing in the night sky. Then the air seemed to ripple, and a small craft about the size of a delivery van appeared over his yard. It made no sound as it descended, gently crushing his garden as it landed. "Stay behind me," Jack said, stepping in front of Ellen. His years as a Marine had taught him to protect others first, even when facing the unknown. A section of the craft slid open, revealing a soft blue light from within. A figure stepped out, taller than a human, with gray-green skin and large eyes that reflected the moonlight like a cat's. It wore what looked like a close-fitting uniform. Ellen fumbled with a small device in her hands. "This translator might help," she whispered to Jack. "It's based on mathematical principles that should be universal." The alien spoke, making clicking sounds mixed with humming tones. Ellen's device buzzed, then produced a flat, mechanical voice. "Unauthorized signal origin located. Identify purpose." Jack stepped forward. "My name is Jack Miller. You took my daughter, Lily. I want her back." The alien's head tilted in what seemed like surprise. The translator converted more clicks and hums. "Humans not permitted knowledge of our existence. Memory adjustment required." "Memory adjustment," Jack repeated angrily. "No way. Where is my daughter?" The alien seemed confused by Jack's directness. After more clicks and hums, the translator said, "Human specimens transferred to primary research facility. Proxima Centauri system. Your offspring designated valuable for study." "Take me there," Jack demanded. This caused the alien to make rapid clicking sounds. The translator struggled to keep up. "Access forbidden. Humans restricted to Earth territory by Galactic Council decree." Jack looked at Ellen, who nodded slightly. They had discussed this possibility. If talking failed, they had a backup plan. Jack slowly reached behind his back, where he had hidden his old service pistol. He didn't want to use it, but Lily's life was at stake. "I wasn't asking permission," Jack said, pulling out the gun. "You're going to take us to this research facility now." The alien stepped back, clearly not expecting resistance. 2 more aliens appeared in the doorway of the craft. Jack raised his weapon higher. "I don't want to hurt anyone," Jack said firmly, "but I will do whatever it takes to get my daughter back." Ellen stepped forward with her translator. "We can do this peacefully. Take us to Proxima Centauri. Let us retrieve our people, and we'll return with you without trouble." The aliens conferred among themselves with rapid clicks. Finally, the first alien turned back to them. "Compliance under duress noted. Board vessel." Jack and Ellen exchanged looks. They were about to leave Earth on an alien spacecraft to a distant star system. For Jack, there was no hesitation. Wherever Lily was, he would follow. The journey to Proxima Centauri took only 3 days. Jack spent most of that time learning to use the alien ship's controls. The 3 Vorsic crew members, as Ellen learned they were called, sat quietly in a corner, watching the humans with large, unblinking eyes. "They're scared of you," Ellen told Jack as she studied the alien database on the ship's computer. "According to their files, humans are classified as primitive but unpredictable. They didn't expect us to take control of their ship." Jack nodded, focused on the strange symbols that served as the ship's navigation system. He had discovered that his engineering background helped him understand the basic principles behind alien technology. It wasn't so different from Earth technology, just more advanced. "What else does it say about us?" Jack asked. Ellen laughed softly. "It says humans are physically weak but stubborn. Also that we lack proper respect for authority and reproduce at concerning rates." Jack almost smiled. His first smile since Lily disappeared. They got some things right. The ship slowed as they approached the Proxima Centauri system. Through the viewing screen, Jack saw many ships moving between planets. Lights from space stations twinkled like artificial stars. "It's so busy," Ellen whispered in awe. "A whole civilization, just next door to our solar system." An alarm sounded on the control panel. One of the Vorsics spoke up, its clicks and hums translated by Ellen's device. "Unauthorized approach detected. Identify immediately." Jack pressed the communication button as Ellen had shown him. "This is Earth vessel approaching. We come in peace." The response was immediate. "Earth not registered for space travel. Prepare for boarding and detention." Jack looked at the Vorsic crew. "Tell them who we really are. Now." The lead Vorsic reluctantly clicked into the communicator. After a brief exchange, several ships began moving toward them, red lights flashing. "They're coming to stop us," Ellen said, checking the scanner. 5 ships, all bigger than ours. Jack remembered his Marine training. When outnumbered, use surprise and quick thinking. He studied the system map on the screen, spotted a small moon, and pointed the ship toward it. "What are you doing?" Ellen asked nervously. "Making them chase us," Jack replied, pushing the ship to full speed. The pursuing ships followed, but Jack noticed they moved carefully, following standard flight paths. He didn't follow the rules. He flew directly through a shipping lane, causing other vessels to scatter. He dipped close to the atmosphere of a gas giant, using its gravity to sling the small ship faster. The alien craft responded well to his commands, better than any aircraft he had flown on Earth. Jack felt a strange sense of freedom despite the danger. The pursuing ships fell behind, unable to match his unexpected maneuvers. There, Ellen pointed to a large facility on a small rocky planet. "The scanner shows human life signs there." Jack aimed the ship directly at the facility's landing bay. The ship's computer warned of restricted access, but Jack overrode it using the Vorsic captain's access codes. The small ship crashed through the security field and skidded to a stop inside a large hangar. Alarms blared as Jack and Ellen rushed from the ship. Alien workers scattered in panic. Jack pulled out his gun and Ellen held up her translator. "We're looking for human captives," she announced through the device. "Take us to them immediately." A tall Vorsic in a white covering approached them cautiously. "Humans not allowed here. This violation of galactic law." Jack pointed his gun steadily. "Taking my daughter was a violation of Earth law. Show me where the humans are kept." More security personnel appeared at the far end of the hangar. Jack knew they had minutes before being overwhelmed. The Vorsic scientist studied Jack's determined face, then nodded slowly. "Follow. Human specimens this way." Jack and Ellen followed the alien through long corridors, passing strange laboratories and containment rooms holding creatures from many worlds. Finally, they entered a large chamber filled with transparent tubes. Inside each tube floated a human, eyes closed, suspended in clear liquid. In the third row, Jack found her. Lily was floating peacefully, looking like she was simply asleep. Jack pressed his hand against the cold surface of the tube. "I found you," he whispered. "Now we're going home." Jack pounded on the tube's surface with his fist. "Get her out. Now." The Vorsic scientist made nervous clicking sounds. "Not possible immediate removal. Brain damage risk high. Slow wake process required." Ellen placed a hand on Jack's shoulder. "He's saying they can't just pull her out. The shock could harm her. They need to wake her up slowly." Jack's jaw tightened. "How long?" The scientist checked a control panel. "This specimen. 26 Earth hours for safe revival. Her name is Lily, not Specimen, Jack said firmly. And we'll wait, but no one takes her anywhere. Security alarms continued to blare throughout the facility. More Vorsic security forces would arrive soon. Jack looked around the large chamber, counting at least 30 humans floating in tubes. Can you secure this room? Jack asked Ellen. She nodded, understanding his plan. The door controls looked similar to the ship's systems. While Ellen worked on locking down the chamber, Jack turned to the scientist. Who's in charge here? I want to speak to them. The scientist's large eyes blinked rapidly. Chief Researcher Krell oversees human studies. Currently approaching. As if on cue, the main door slid open before Ellen could lock it. A taller Vorsic entered, wearing elaborate coverings and surrounded by 4 security guards. Jack raised his gun. I assume you're Krell, Jack said. The tall alien nodded. I am Chief Researcher Krell. You are committing serious violation. Release hostages and surrender. Jack laughed without humor. We're not the ones taking hostages. You kidnapped my daughter and these other humans. Ellen finished with the door controls and approached. According to your own database, Earth is classified as a protected developing world. Taking specimens violates Galactic Council Directive 547. Krell's posture changed slightly. Humans not supposed to know galactic law. We know a lot of things you didn't expect, Jack said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device he had taken from the ship. I also know this is a remote detonator for the ship we arrived in. One press, and it overloads the power core. This was a bluff. Jack had no idea what the device actually did, but it looked important. The Vorsic security guards stepped back nervously. Krell made rapid clicking sounds to his guards before addressing Jack again. What are your demands? First, wake up all these humans safely. Second, prepare a larger ship for us to take them all home. Third, no one else enters this room except medical staff. Krell considered this. Process will take time. Council representatives already approaching facility. Then they can talk to me when they get here, Jack said firmly. The next few hours passed in tense waiting. Jack watched over Lily's tube while Ellen monitored the facility's communications. She discovered something unexpected. Jack, you need to hear this, she called him over. The Galactic Council is treating our arrival as an official Earth challenge to Vorsic control of this system. Jack frowned. What does that mean? In their laws, when a representative of one species forcibly takes control of another species' facility, it's considered a territorial challenge, Ellen explained. They think you're Earth's official representative claiming this star system. Jack looked baffled. That's ridiculous. I'm just here for my daughter. Ellen showed him the translated messages. They don't understand that. In their society, individuals don't take action without government authority. They can't comprehend you did this alone. Before Jack could respond, the chamber door opened again. A new alien entered, unlike the Vorsic. It was shorter with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms. It wore what looked like formal robes. I am Ziri, Galactic Council representative, the translator conveyed. I come to oversee system claim dispute between Earth and Vorsic Empire. Jack and Ellen exchanged worried glances. What had started as a rescue mission was turning into something much bigger. There's been a misunderstanding, Jack began. Ziri held up a small device. Challenge protocols activated. Formal proceedings commence in 6 hours. Earth representative must prepare statement of claim. Jack looked back at Lily's sleeping form. This was getting complicated. Jack paced the room, running his hands through his hair. I can't be a representative for Earth. I'm just an engineer trying to find my daughter. Ellen was studying the Galactic Council documents on a borrowed datapad. According to their laws, anyone who successfully challenges established control of a facility has legal standing. By taking over this research center, you've automatically initiated a claim. A soft noise came from one of the tubes in the far corner of the room. Jack rushed over and found a thin, green-skinned alien pressing against the glass from inside. Unlike the Vorsic, this creature had 4 arms and large, sad eyes. "Who is that?" Jack asked Krell, who was monitoring Lily's wake-up process. Krell barely glanced over. "Novan test subject. Not your concern." The creature tapped the glass repeatedly, trying to get their attention. Jack moved closer. Through the clear liquid, he could see the alien pointing to other tubes containing more of its kind. "Why are these Novans here?" Ellen asked, joining Jack. Krell seemed uncomfortable. "Novan species useful for testing. Their biology similar to humans in some ways." Jack didn't like the sound of that. "Are you experimenting on them before trying things on humans?" Krell's silence was answer enough. Jack felt a surge of anger. "Wake them up too. All of them." "Not your authority," Krell objected. Jack raised his makeshift detonator. "I think we established whose authority counts right now." While Krell reluctantly began the wake-up sequence for the Novan captives, Ziri, the council representative, approached Jack. "Earth claim grows stronger with Novan alliance," Ziri stated through the translator. Jack looked confused. "What alliance?" "You demand Novan freedom. In council law, this creates formal bond between species," Ziri explained. "Most unusual approach. Humans very different." News of Jack's actions spread quickly through the facility. When the first Novan woke from stasis, the small green alien immediately bowed to Jack. It spoke in a musical language that Ellen's translator converted to simple words. "I am Ven. My people thank Earth Protector. Vorsic keep us as slaves for many cycles. You first to help." Jack felt uncomfortable with the gratitude. "I just don't like seeing anyone locked up against their will." As more Novans awoke, they gathered around Jack. Ven explained that the Novans were skilled technicians forced to work for the Vorsic. They had knowledge that could help. "Vorsic ships coming," Ven warned, looking at a facility monitor. "Big warships. They not accept your claim." Ellen checked the screens. "He's right. 5 large vessels just entered orbit." Jack thought quickly. His marine training had taught him to use whatever advantages he had. "Can your people help us improve the facility's defenses?" Ven nodded eagerly. "We build Vorsic systems. We know weaknesses." While the Novans worked to strengthen the research center's shields and weapons, Ellen continued studying galactic law. She made an important discovery. "Jack, according to these rules, your alliance with the Novans strengthens Earth's claim on this system. If you can defend the facility against the Vorsic counterattack, your position becomes even stronger." Jack shook his head in disbelief. "This is crazy. I just want to get Lily and the other humans home safely." The facility shook as the first Vorsic shots hit the outer shields. The Novans had improved the defenses, but they wouldn't hold forever. Jack checked Lily's tube. The wake-up process was only half complete. He needed more time. Ven approached with several other Novans. "We modify defense systems. Need Earth Commander to approve firing sequence." Jack hesitated only briefly. If fighting back was the only way to keep Lily safe until she woke up, then that's what he would do. "Show me what you've got," he said. Ven led Jack to a control room where the Novans had reworked the weapon systems. Instead of standard patterns, they had created unpredictable firing sequences that the Vorsic ships wouldn't expect. Jack studied the setup, his engineering mind quickly grasping the improvements. "Let's give them a surprise they won't forget." He pressed the activation button. Outside, the facility's defense cannons roared to life, firing in patterns no Vorsic commander would anticipate. The first attacking ship took direct hits and veered off course. On a communication screen, Jack saw Ziri watching with interest. The council representative was recording everything. The battle lasted for 3 hours. Jack directed the facility's defenses with help from Ven and the other Novans. The Vorsic ships attacked in traditional patterns, making them predictable. Jack's unorthodox tactics confused them. He targeted engines instead of weapons. He fired in random sequences instead of steady rhythms. 2 Vorsic ships retreated with heavy damage. The others kept their distance, no longer attacking directly. During a pause in the fighting, Jack checked on Lily. Her tube was now draining the liquid, the final stage before waking. Her eyes remained closed, but her fingers twitched slightly. Jack pressed his hand against the glass. "Almost there, kiddo," he said softly. "Just hang on a little longer." Ellen rushed into the room, excitement on her face. "Jack, you need to see this. News about Earth is spreading through the galaxy. They're calling it the Human Challenge." She showed him a data screen displaying alien text and images. His translator converted some of it. Many species were watching the events at Proxima Centauri with great interest. Some were openly supporting the human claim. "Why would they care about us?" Jack asked. "The Vorsic aren't popular," Ellen explained. "They've taken territory from many worlds. Seeing someone stand up to them is big news." Ziri entered the room, his 4 arms moving in formal gestures. "Vorsic requests ceasefire for diplomatic discussion. Council recognizes successful defense, validates Earth claims strength." Jack was about to respond when a medical alert sounded. The human stasis tubes were opening. Lily and the other captives were finally waking up. Jack rushed to Lily's side as her tube opened completely. She coughed, spitting out breathing fluid, and slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she looked confused, then her gaze focused on Jack's face. "Dad." Her voice was weak. Where are we?" Jack helped her sit up, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. "It's complicated, honey, but you're safe now." Lily looked around, seeing the aliens and the facility for the first time. "I remember men breaking into our house. They weren't human." She shivered. "They said I had special genes they needed." Jack felt rage build inside him again. "Did they hurt you?" Lily shook her head. "They kept me asleep most of the time. Sometimes I could hear them talking, even while I was under. They said something about experiments in the Ta CD system." Ellen, who was helping other humans wake up, stopped suddenly. "Ta CD. That's the Vorsic home system." Lily nodded. "They're taking humans with certain genetic markers there, for some kind of soldier program." This new information changed everything. Jack turned to Ziri. "I need to speak to the Galactic Council immediately. There are more humans being held in the Ta CD system." Ziri made a gesture with all 4 arms. "Most unusual request. Ta CD is Vorsic territory. Council cannot authorize entry." "They took our people," Jack insisted. "That gives us the right to get them back." "Perhaps," Ziri admitted. "Ancient law of intervention might apply. Must consult council records." While Ziri researched, Jack briefed Ellen on his plan. "If there are more humans in Ta CD, we need to rescue them too." "Jack, Ta CD is the Vorsic home system," Ellen warned. "It will be heavily defended. This facility was hard enough to take. Their home planets will be impossible." "I'm not leaving people behind," Jack said firmly. The facility shook again as the Vorsic ships renewed their attack. This time their patterns were different, more aggressive. The shields were weakening. Then approached with urgent news. More ships coming, not Vorsic. The screens showed dozens of small vessels entering the system. Jack prepared for more fighting, but Ven was smiling. "Novan ships. Word spread of Earth Alliance. Our people come to help." The new arrivals engaged the Vorsic ships, their small size making them difficult targets. The Vorsic forces, caught between the facility's defenses and the Novan fleet, began to withdraw. Ziri watched all this with great interest. When the Vorsic finally retreated completely, he approached Jack with a formal document. "Council emergency ruling complete. Earth representative granted right of intervention in Ta CD. Limited operation to retrieve human captives authorized." Jack looked at the document, then at Lily, who was growing stronger by the minute. He had found his daughter, but the mission wasn't over. More families were waiting for their loved ones to come home. "How soon can we leave for Ta CD?" he asked. Jack stood on the bridge of the Novan ship, watching stars streak past the viewing window. The journey to Ta City would take 4 days. Behind him, a small fleet of 20 vessels followed, a mix of Novan ships and a few from other species who opposed the Vorsic. Lily sat in a chair nearby, still recovering but getting stronger each day. She insisted on joining the mission despite Jack's concerns. "I heard them talking while I was in stasis," she explained. "I know where the research center is located in their system. I can help." Ellen entered the bridge with Ven. The rescued humans are settled in the passenger quarters. Most are still confused about what's happening. "Can you blame them?" Jack said. "A month ago, they were normal people on Earth. Now they're in a spaceship heading to another star system." Ziri, who had joined them as the Council's official observer, approached with his datapad. "New communication from Council. Vorsic representatives demand Earth withdraw from Proxima Centauri and abandon mission to Ta City." "And what did the Council say?" Ellen asked. "Council recognizes Earth's legal claim on Proxima Centauri," Ziri replied. "Your defensive facility against Vorsic attack satisfied ancient laws of territorial challenge." Jack shook his head in disbelief. "So I accidentally claimed an entire star system for Earth." "Correct," Ziri confirmed. "You now designated interim administrator of Proxima Centauri system." Jack rubbed his forehead. This was getting more complicated by the day. "Let's focus on the mission at hand. We need a plan for when we reach Ta City." The group gathered around a holographic map. Lily pointed to the third planet. "This is where they talked about taking the special genetic samples. It's some kind of military research facility." Then studied the map. Vorsic home system heavily guarded. Direct approach impossible. Jack thought for a moment. "Then we don't use a direct approach. We use distraction." Over the next days, Jack developed a plan using his marine training and engineering knowledge. The Novan ships would split into 3 groups. 2 would create diversions at different points in the system, while Jack would lead the main rescue team to the research facility. When they arrived at the edge of the Ta City system, they picked up an unexpected signal. Ven translated it. "Message from Vorsic lower-caste workers on mining colony," he explained. "They offer help. Say many Vorsic tired of military leaders." This was unexpected but welcome news. Jack adjusted the plan to include this new support. The mission began with the first Novan ships attacking a military outpost far from their real target. As predicted, Vorsic warships rushed to defend it. The second group targeted a fuel depot, drawing away more defenders. Jack's ship slipped through the gaps in Vorsic defenses, helped by information from sympathetic Vorsic workers. They'd reached the research planet with minimal resistance. Using Lily's knowledge, they located the facility, a large complex built into a mountain. The ship landed in a remote area, and Jack led a small team toward the entrance. "Security seems light," Ellen noted as they approached. "Most forces diverted to attacks," Ven explained. They entered through a service tunnel provided by their Vorsic allies. Inside, they found laboratories similar to the facility in Proxima Centauri, but larger. And in a central chamber, they discovered rows of stasis tubes containing humans. Jack moved quickly, securing the room while Ellen and the Novans began the wake-up process for the captives. In an adjacent lab, they found something disturbing: genetic samples from hundreds more humans who weren't present. "They've been collecting DNA from Earth for years," Ellen realized, scanning the database. Their work was interrupted when the facility's commander, a senior Vorsic military officer, entered with armed guards. "Humans should not be here," the commander said through a translator. "How did you penetrate our defenses?" Jack raised his weapon. "We had help from your own people. Not everyone supports what you're doing." The commander looked shocked. "Impossible. Lower castes would never betray leadership." "Maybe they're tired of being treated like the Novans," Jack suggested. "Maybe they want change." Before the commander could respond, alarms sounded throughout the facility. On communication screens, they saw more ships entering the system, but they weren't Vorsic vessels. "Galactic Council ships," Ziri announced. Council has voted to formally investigate Vorsic experiments on protected species. Jack smiled grimly at the Vorsic commander. Looks like you have some explaining to do. The next week passed in a blur of diplomatic meetings and rescue operations. The Galactic Council formally censured the Vorsic for illegal experimentation on protected species. With council ships backing them up, Jack and his team freed all the human captives and prepared to take them home. But before they could leave Ta City, the council called Jack to a formal hearing. He stood before a panel of 7 aliens, each from a different species. Zuri acted as his translator. Earth Representative Jack Miller began the council leader, a tall being with shimmering scales. Your actions have created an unprecedented situation in galactic politics. Jack shifted uncomfortably. I just wanted to find my daughter. Yet you have gained control of Proxima Centauri through legitimate challenge, exposed illegal Vorsic operations in Ta City, and inspired rebellion among Vorsic lower castes. The leader continued. The council must decide how to manage this new reality. After hours of debate, the council reached a decision. Jack was officially recognized as the interim administrator of both Proxima Centauri and portions of Ta City, where the Vorsic had lost control. This is temporary until formal Earth government can establish proper diplomatic channels, Zuri explained. Jack just wanted to go home, but he now had responsibilities to the Novans and other species who had helped him. He couldn't abandon them. As the rescued humans prepared for their journey back to Earth, news arrived of trouble in a third star system, Bernard's star. The Vorsic military leaders had retreated there and were planning a counterattack. We can't let them regroup, Ellen warned. They'll come back stronger. Jack was tired of fighting, but he understood the threat. After sending most of the humans home with a council escort, he kept a small team including Lily, Ellen, and their Novan allies. Together they traveled to Bernard's star to deal with the Vorsic threat. What they found surprised them. Bernard's star wasn't a military stronghold, but a colony world where most inhabitants were Vorsic civilians and lower castes. The military leaders were hiding among them, using them as shields. They think we won't attack civilian populations, Ellen noted. They're right, Jack said firmly. We're not like them. Instead of attacking, Jack sent a message directly to the Vorsic people, explaining the situation. He told them about the illegal experiments, the council's ruling, and offered them a choice: continue under their current leadership or join the new alliance of species that was forming. A Vorsic named Telk responded. He was a teacher who had long opposed the military leadership. Many here wish for change, Telk explained when they met. Your actions have given us courage to speak out. With Telk's help, Jack's team located the military leaders hiding in a mountain base. The civilians turned against them, blocking escape routes and providing information. When Jack's forces surrounded the base, the Vorsic commanders surrendered without a fight. The Galactic Council arrived to formalize the transition. Under Jack's guidance, a new government formed in Bernard's star system with representatives from all local species, including reformed Vorsic. 3 months after Lily's kidnapping, Jack stood on the bridge of a comfortable council ship heading back to Earth. Beside him stood Lily, healthy and eager to return home. Hard to believe it's over, she said. Jack smiled tiredly. Not quite over. I'm still technically in charge of 3 star systems. Ellen joined them, holding a datapad. Earth governments are sending a diplomatic team to meet us. They're calling you a hero, Jack. I'm no hero, he replied. Just a dad who wouldn't give up. As Earth grew larger in the viewing screen, Jack thought about how much had changed. Humanity now had a place among the stars, whether they were ready or not. What happens when we get home? Lily asked. First, we get you back to school, Jack said. Then I need to figure out how to explain to my boss why I missed 3 months of work. They all laughed, the tension finally breaking. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Jack had found his daughter, and in the process, changed the course of human history. Not bad for an aerospace engineer from a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy.